There we go. Soil rant. Yeah, hey, there's the subject. I saw it again, and it's been bothering me for 2 days. A landscaper has suggested that because of all of the flooding and situations, that the solution to the flooding problem is French drains. Dig up the soil, take out the clay, lay in tile, backfill it with gravel, and then put some topsoil back on it. So rather than fix the problem and get the clay receiving water again and the entire yard receiving water again, we're going to spend $500 to $1,000 and patch the problem. That's like having a jet airplane worth millions of dollars pop a hole in its tire and the mechanic go out there with a plug and plug that sucker. Yeah, let's put $1 million on a 30-cent plug. That fixes the problem. And wonder why I have a problem with land scrapers. Not scapers, two different worlds. But yeah, fix the soil, people. That's the problem. Patch jobs to just get money out of your pocket is not the solution. Oh, dear God. So, what are you going to do? You're going to route all this water out of your yard into somebody else's yard. So, what does your yard gain from this? Now, your yard won't retain water. It always runs there. And now you're going to start washing soil out in the gravel. Hey, awesome idea. Awesome idea. You know, in the beginning to the solution is a handy little bag of $2 Epsom salt versus $500 to $1,000 for a bunch of guys to come out and crush your yard and patch the problem. It's about getting the soil fixed and getting your clay turned back into soil, turned back into topsoil. Oh, oh, people just don't understand. People. The solution is not $500 to $1,000. The solution is sitting in your drugstore for $5. Dear God. Uh, see, and that's just it. It's forgotten information. It's just forgotten. We forgot how to take care of our yards. We forgot how to fix the soil. We forgot all of this information. So we're going to pay somebody to come in with a backhoe, trench this all out. Now we're causing directional flooding. We're going to deliberately flood out more of our topsoil because it's going to drain down into that. How's this fixing the problem? That your clay is now your clay, and the clay bed is growing because there's nothing in it. There are plants, people. There are plants out there that you can just stick in your yard and forget about that are high not nitrogen yield. Yeah, I saw another one today, and it's not wrong. It's not wrong, but it isn't necessarily right. That by planting clover in a field that was over farmed or overdone with livestock, by planting it with clover, you're going to fix the problem that is now there by jacking up the nitrogen levels. That's not going to fix the problem. It really isn't, but there are plants out there that will. Uh, it, it's this mindset. It's this 1953's mindset, 1956 mindset that that the NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, all these are the only three things that make plants grow. It's so far from wrong because where are they getting the nitrogen? They're not telling you to throw clover in your yard. They're giving you a chemical, a byproduct of an oil supplement. Where are they getting phosphorus? Where are they getting the potassium? All of them byproducts of oil products. They're not coming in with natural products. We have to get off this mindset. Have to get off this mindset. Stop patching problems and fix the overall problem. And like I told Grizz, dude, you don't have to get off your tractor if you're physically incapable, not capable of maintaining a full yard. Just cruise along and throw this stuff out and slowly start making a difference throughout your property. This isn't work. It's forgotten information. Oh my God. And it's you want to break up clay, but you don't want to work at it. Okay. Okay. Anywhere you don't cut grass, there there's plants. There are exceptional root plants. Most of them we garden. Most of them we eat. It's the one of the best. One of the best. And I've seen some incredible radishes from the ones that you see in a salad, nicely diced up and what have you, to mammoth, 2 and 3 feet long. Hint, hint, hint. Radish is a nitrogen builder when it's left alone. So, in other words, do not dig it up. Unless you plant so many, it doesn't matter. But anywhere that you're not planning on planting anything, if you're not landscaping the specific area immediately, but you want to, go over there and plant that. But don't harvest it. Let it naturally regenerate until you're ready to go in there and do a landscape. Radish, a simple radish. If you've ever, and most people haven't, and that's why we have this problem now. Most people have never harvested radishes. You pull out these little quarter-sized radishes, and they've got weeds, or I'm sorry, they've got roots that drop in the ground a foot, 2 foot, 3 foot. That's mostly your clay beds. Radish is a hardy plant looking for the minerals and the supplements that it needs. And when you leave it in the soil and you don't harvest it, the whole radish turns directly into nitrogen and spreads out throughout the bed and spreads out throughout the soil. So you can, if you're planning on doing something in that area, throw in a bunch of radishes. If you're planning on a garden in the next 2 years and you have an area selected, get out there with some radishes. Plant some radishes in that area. Don't cut it because you don't want to cut the radish leaves off. Trim it, keep it down so that the city doesn't come after you and your neighbors aren't crying. But plant that in radishes. When you're ready to turn that to nitrogen, waiting for everything you put in. Not a hard concept, but they're going to go so deep in the soil that you don't have to break your back to do it. Again, in my book, there are other solutions. There are other ways to call nature in to help you. Go that direction. Seriously. But the idea, and for 2 days, this has been bothering me. You know, French drains to fix a water saturation problem, meaning the water's there, but it's not soaking into the soil. So let's flush it out of our yard and take the precious water away that we actually need. And instead of making your yard retain water, we're now going to have less water. So fewer things are going to grow there in the long run. And we're going to, in the process, wash out good soil. Just food for thought. $500 to $1,000, depending on how far you're talking about trenching, plus the labor to remove the water you need in your yard. No, fix the soil. Just food for thought. Fix the soil. The water is your friend. You don't, French drains are wrong. I'm sorry. If you're getting water in your yard, you're beating a lot of other people in the country that can't get any. So, yeah, why would you do that? Fix the soil. Hey, my nature, my life, my passion. Just ranting. Just ranting. Uh, a water problem again, and I talked about it last week, and because it's come out again, and the solution was offered to French tile, French drain the yard to get rid of the water. Oh dear God, no! Fix the soil. So I'm just ranting. Um, I don't have any major solutions other than radishes are your friend. Research them. They break up clay. Research them. Don't harvest them. Research them. Some incredible things, radishes. And the amount of nitrogen that they trade you for a year's growth is absolutely incredible in your garden. There's a bunch of different types of radishes, I understand. So you can go a bunch of different ways. But yeah, if you got a clay problem and you're fighting a clay problem, um, radishes. Couple of dollar bags of radishes, and I think I got a handful of bags in here, but um, couple of handfuls of radishes would well, it's a rant. It's just one of them things. It's to it's the landscaper that comes in and sets everything up right and brings in all the right soils and everything else to support the plants they're going to do. Those guys are awesome. They really know what they're doing. They're building the retaining walls the right way. They're putting in the fabrics. Like landscapers, phenomenal people. Land scrapers want to come in and sell you an incredible amount of labor to get rid of what you need and flush water out of your yard. So rather than fix the yard, we're just going to flush all the water away, plus the soil away, cause a trench inevitably in a couple of years as everything collapses into the gravel. And it's the idea, it's the land scraper idea of let's patch a problem versus just fixing all of the yard and fixing the soil in the same season. Oh, hey, sweet girl, how are you this evening, dear? Mr. Engler, what's going on? But yeah, if you've let's just and I can dwell on it, but let's just say you've got a little third of an acre with a little house on it. Um, you don't have any cement basically on the edge of your yard, and you're thinking about a garden. and your neighbors aren't real uppity ups, and you don't have this and you don't have that and you don't have the other. Go back in the area where you think you might garden. If the sun's right and this is right and that's right, and throw a bunch of radishes down. Start breaking up the clay before you go out there and break your back and get it ready. One season. You only have to go out there with a weed whacker and just top it off. Don't kill the radish leaves. Just keep clay into almost, shatter resistant sand, so soft and so pliable. Organic material is going to be able to get down into that soil, and into that clay, and you're going to be 50% of your on your way into an incredible garden packed full of nitrogen versus a ton of money, a ton of money to rip all that stuff out, bring all these bags of garbage soil in, because it's not topsoil. I'm warning you, it's not topsoil. If you buy it at a big box store, things are missing, things are wrong. Just, it's in the book. Really, the solutions are in the book, and it's knowledge. It's not process one, process two, process three. It's just knowledge. Um, the idea that you have to go out there and spend a fortune to eat healthy, have a garden, get in connection with nature, get healthy with nature, produce more oxygen, and have a garden bed that you're not breaking your back to maintain. No weeds, weed free, and you're relaxing and enjoying yourself, taking care of your yard and taking care of your garden. That's what it's about. If you've got to go out there and back break work, you're doing something wrong. If you know where you want to build your garden, but you're just not sure how to start, throw some radish seeds in. It's an amazing little thing that those little, what, I want to say Bedelia because of the size of the Bedelia onions, but it's the small little radish all the way up through these gigantic, really simple. Well, I appreciate that. And it's so many people today are for lack of knowledge willing to go out there and do backbreaking work to try and get incredible end results. And the fact of the matter is, you don't have to. You really don't have to. Um, they're and that's why I want to write the gardening book, to build the actual garden bed. Because there's so many ideas that are just so wrong and so misleading and so harmful when it's the knowledge of the soil. If you take the knowledge from book one, you're going to put out far better gardens than your neighbors, only because you have the knowledge of what the food web really needs and what's going on there. When you walk into a big box store, and I'm not trying not to knock anybody, please don't misunderstand. I've done it just to test the theory. When you walk into a big box store and they got row after row after row of chemicals and a bunch of machines all lined up, they are so willing to sell you a machine and a bunch of bags of garbage that aren't going to work in the long run, because next year's garden is you're basically stacking the deck against yourself instead of going into a yearly progression of making better soil, better soil, better soil, better garden, better garden, better garden. They're going to give you a patch kit, sell you a machine. You're going to go out there and break your back, learn how to use this machine the right way, finally get it working the right way, mix in all of their recommendations, throw in the chemicals, and kill the food web. Then you're going to plant your plants in a dead food web. The plants are going to try and restore the food web, and you're immediately going to go out there and throw more chemicals on it to NPK, take care of your plants. Again, killing the food web. Your plants are going to suffer, so you're going to throw nitrogen at them to basically stick them on steroids. But a chemical, there goes your food web. Then the bugs are going to invade, so you're going to go get a pesticide, and you're going to spray the pesticide on your plants. That never goes away. It saturates into all of your vegetables. Now you have a pesticide you're going to eat. It's not going to digest well, potentially causing obesity. Again, food web destroyed. So when you come back next year, and we'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Pristine soil, nice, soft, fluffy, retains water, does everything. Get in there with a shovel, flip that sucker over, out. And nothing is alive. Yeah, it's soft, it's pristine, it's pretty. So's cat litter, used cat litter too. Sorry, bad analogy, but that's the reality of it. If the food web is destroyed, it continues to go down and soak into the soil and build up the clay, because compressed soil is what? Clay. It has no life in it. It's gone. It's gone. And you have more clay. So when I saw the solution offered of, hey, just throw in a French drain, it'll drain the water right out of your yard. It'll help so much. It's only going to cost you $5. Start getting the clay to start receiving water again. Start getting organic material down in the clay and bring it back up. Start getting stuff back down there. Get that yard retaining water. There, I mean, and the info. I did not put the information because it leads too much into gardening, and I didn't want to lead the book that way. The book's about soil. But when you leave Mother Nature alone, and I compared this once before in another one of my chats, when you leave Mother Nature alone, there's a garden, there's a gardener. Sorry, scratch that. Not even he's a full-fledged farmer, thousands of acres. His neighbor right across the street, lifelong chemical dependent farmer, hundreds, thousands of acres that he takes care of. The one who lets nature survive in the fields and lets nature do it her way can retain up to 3 to 4 inches of water an hour, and it saturates in and dissipates and is stored in the soil. The guy across the street, his soil is flooding into the street. It's a swamp as far as the eye can see, wiping out everything. And you go over and you dig, and it's hard dirt to clay, because the chemical dependency has killed the food web across the street. There's nothing left. Nothing survives. The only way to make plants grow on that property is chemical. And he overtills it. And there's another, and you can put that into the rant. Don't till. When you take the food web that has survived in the dark, in the moist, out of the sunlight, and you turn it over. Now the sunlight, the air get directly to that food web and kill it within an hour. You are so much better to just take your plants, make a slice the whole distance, put your shovel in, tip it sideways, put your plant in, move on. Put your shovel in, tip it sideways, put your plant in, move on. You are so much better to do slice planting and not disturb a majority of your food web and let it continue to grow. It will continue to go down deep and it will bring your soil up and make it topsoil. It will bring your dirt up and turn it into soil and then again into topsoil. And then it'll begin working on your clay. That's a garden. You can do the same thing in the yard and never have to turn your yard over. It's a matter of getting things into the ground nature's way. And nature has its own rototillers, but they don't work like a rototiller like our big machines do. They come in from underneath and come up. They get what's above and they take it down into the soil with them so that they can eat it later. And they load the soil with organic matter in that way. The grass roots will follow all of those creatures. The solutions in the book. You can call them back in and build things up and make things work. Mother Nature has known what she's doing for, I can't tell you how long the planet's been here. 1 billion years, 100 billion, whatever. Mother Nature knows what she's doing. All of these creatures survived the flood, survived the this, survived the everything biblically throughout history. They were still here doing their thing. But man in his wisdom is going to come along and throw in a French drain to just, we're going to fix that water problem for you there, buddy. Yep, your yard will never hold water again. Yep. And then wonder why you can't get your garden to grow when there's no water. That's the rant. I just, when I saw it, I stumbled over it and just I've been dwelling on it for days. When I should have been shouting out to all of you guys, hey, Artful Lena, how are you, my sweet? No, what's strange? Bobby's, maybe. I don't know. I couldn't sleep, and I was just kind of green on the brain. Just garden, just yard, just, and I had to get it out. I had to say something. It just, but the idea that man knows more than nature is what has given us these bad foods, everybody. It is just that simple. It is just that bad. Mother Nature knows best. She's been here a whole lot longer than we have, and the planet thrived. And then we came along and screwed it all up. So guess what? So yeah, just a couple of plants. Couple of plants, just like I've said, and just like it said in the book. Weeds are there as Mother Nature's repair crew. If you learn how to read the weeds, you'll know what is needed. And if you just provide what is needed, the weeds go away. Now, I've given you another solution throughout the book that, and Dina, this is the problem you're dealing with. The weeds are growing because they're trying to get the gravel area. You're not out of luck. There's ways to stop that. Now, understand this is a yearly problem for gravel. And I'm not saying that yearly you need to be out there on your hands and knees pulling weeds or spraying any chemicals. Their first year's attack, you need to be aggressive. Okay, so you follow the recipe, or you get out there with kerosene, which was the original. Okay, this was the original to stop, and it was the railroads that did it first, and they've never had issues. So your kerosenes and your diesels, honey, I'm not telling you to go mess with those. I really, really would rather you not. You know, let your husband do with that what he will, if that's the. I don't think that's what's necessary. I've given you a very simple home remedy that you can put in a misting bottle and spray things down. But there's another product, and it's a byproduct of a natural process that's in the book. Now, you get a bag of this, and you go out there and you hand spread it. You hand spread it in the spring. In the summer, after the dandelions go to seed, when you see the little white puff balls, and the seeds go spraying everywhere, you sprinkle it down in the gravel driveway then, and you sprinkle it in the fall before the leaves get down. You can use the stuff like ice melt and let it saturate in. It's non-toxic. You can walk in it barefoot. You could even eat it. I'm not recommending it, but you could. That one product used year after year. Again, this is not something that's lifelong. Once you defeat the seeds and you get all of the seeds out of that area, because that stuff soaks into the soil. When it rains, it soaks in like glue. It finds those seeds and it kills them. Once you've done that a few times throughout a season, and then you do a little bit more the following year, you're going to find that weeds can't and don't pop up there because you're ahead of them. You're not going to fight weeds with this one bag. One bag. So the first year you may need the mix that's in the book, the solution that's in the book, and go out there and mist them down and just kill them. But then when you take this other very inexpensive, and to me, in my mindset, this is a weed and feed. This is a master weed and feed, because it goes in and kills all weed seed. So not only do you just use it in the driveway, you use it all over your yard. If the seeds are flying and you see them flying from all your neighbors' yards, from a mile away, whatever, drifting into your yard, get out there with this stuff. Go for a walk. Get the spreader out and just have at it, along with the other things that are in the book at the same time. Why do just one process when you can do 3 or 4 at the same time? Because they're all natural and they work together, independently doing their own thing. Don't misunderstand, but they don't affect each other in any way. None of these things, when crossed against each other, will hurt each other. They don't work like that. They don't work like the chemical weed and feeds, nitrogen, phosphorus, what have you. So you sprinkle this all over your yard. Some of it stays on the surface, and you can see it almost immediately. The very next day after you've had a morning dew, you see a lot of your large leaf weeds, what have you, start fading off because it burns them. It saturates in, and it dehydrates the living daylights out of them, and it burns them. It doesn't affect the grass. It's really neat. It's really neat the way this stuff works. And it's all natural. Again, you could eat it. But as you concentrate that more so on the gravel driveway you have, you're not going to have that problem. And like I said, in the middle of winter, if you've got an ice problem, you go out there with this stuff. They say carry a bag of kitty litter so that you can throw it down on the ice. Use this stuff instead. especially when you're fighting a weed problem. And let that soak into that gravel and do its job. And it kills out all the weed seed. Gone. Weeds won't come back if there's no seed for them to come from. There's your solution. Um, but fix the soil. Fix the soil when yards are retaining water once again like they're supposed to. Once penetration starts to happen, and there's a multitude of ways to do it, and I offer them in the book. The solutions are there. You don't know I'm buffering. You don't need expensive land scrapers to come in and put in a French tile drain and put in drainage and put in drainage lines and bring in gravel. No, your yard, just like this man's farm, should saturate and soak up as much rainfall as there is. See, because here's the secret. If you have 2 inches of rain throughout your entire year, and all 2 inches of rain get into your soil, but the next door neighbor's yard, because they're chemical dependent too, your yard doesn't need watered because the water's soaked in, saving you money, making a healthy food web, making a healthy yard. That's kind of it. In a nutshell, that's kind of it. But the idea, the just the you know, you want to build a garden, prep the area ahead of time. Don't work it. Don't go back there with a shovel or a rototiller or anything. Just throw some seeds down. You know, get ahead of yourself. Just go back there with a trimmer. Don't cut it down with a lawnmower. Just go back there with a trimmer and keep it from getting totally out of control. Because you want to knock that down next year. Once you compress that next year and start planting the plants in there that you want, you're not going to allow this stuff to happen. And you're going to be back there with the weed seed killer, and you're going to be back there with some other stuff, and you're going to be making a difference prepping your soil to turn it into a garden. But if you have the mindset that, oh my God, building a garden is so hard and it's so complicated, you're already beat yourself. You already lost the battle. There's another way. Well, see, that's it, Diana. A lot of people do, and that's why our rivers run brown, and that's why look at all the problems in California. Cliffs are just devastatingly coming down, taking out homes, crushing roads, and doing this, that, and the other. These things have been standing there for thousands of years, and then man came along in the 50s and said, "We're going to throw chemicals on that, and it'll make it prettier." And we've had nothing but erosion problems ever since. And it's a global problem. Global. We got to get away from the chemicals. We have to throw the MPK standards out the window because that's an oil derivative idea and mindset. Out the window it goes. Nature knows what it's doing, and it didn't need the NPK process 1,000 years ago to know whether anything would grow. Out the window. Throw it away. Get out of that mindset. Go back to nature. If you're not sure about something, read a book. Oh my God, it's so complicated because all of the knowledge was written down at one time. That's how we used to pass things along. It's called the Farmer's Almanac. It's loaded with information. That's for the gardeners. That's. I'm a soilist. I'm a soil nut job. I'm about the food web. I'm about what's going on underneath. I, ugh. It's just the mindset of this land scraper offering this suggestion. Spend $500 to $1,000. It'll be fine. It's not going to fix all the dying trees with the reason that the trees are dying, but we'll get rid of your water. So now we're going to starve your trees. They won't have anything to drink, and we're going to make the problem devastatingly worse. And no, I'm not trying to pick on the guy. That's just what he was led to understand. That's just what he has done. It's not his fault. You can't fault a guy for not having all knowledge. Not everybody has a lifetime to spend researching when they're out there physically doing labor. You've got to give these guys credit. They're busting hump every single day trying to help people. But, a little bit of knowledge could be dangerous in the same man's hand because he could double his workload cutting grass by extending his grass cutting season by going all natural instead of all chemical. So he's going to cut twice as much grass and have to start earlier and not have the delay between when winter stops and summer starts and the cutting season starts. My yard cutting season starts 5 weeks earlier than everybody else's. Go figure. Now, if this land scraper had this knowledge and was able to get this information to his customers and clients, and they got into it for a neighbor's yard, who's the richer for it? Just a little bit of knowledge. Little bit of knowledge. To just walk away with the idea or the mindset that I know everything there is to know about fixing your yard and taking care of these problems. I'm going to come in and put a French drain in and wash away all of your problems. And then wonder why you're starving at the end of the season because you don't have enough work. Because you killed all the product. You killed all the lawns. You took away all the water. You threw a bunch of chemicals on it and killed the food web, and nothing's growing now. Middle of the heat season, 80 degrees, 90 degrees outside. My neighbors are out there sweating it, pouring on the water. I'm cutting my grass because my grass is still green and growing. And I have a water retention issue where my yard holds all of its water. It doesn't just wash down the street. It's amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Amazing. Well, Diane, I know you got one coming. You're almost there, sweetie. I know you got it coming. Some of you know Casey Detox Diva. If you don't, get to know her. If anyone has stuck with this stream this long, 43 minutes, she is going to be announcing this week that she's going to run a contest Saturday morning, I understand, at 10 a.m. And I will post it here once the thing comes out. Her announcement comes out and what's necessary. She has the Green Wizard guides, 2 of them signed, ready to go. She will be giving one of them away, if not both of them away, Saturday, 10 a.m. Again, I will post the link here. So if you don't have a book ordered and you want to get a book and you want one signed, here comes a contest. I just haven't announced it yet. I only found out about it today. She hasn't even posted a video about it yet, but here it comes, everybody. Look for the link here. I'll post a short blurb and put the information up, but just to get the word out. I was thinking about having a contest myself. I really was. I don't know. I need to take a vote. If you could get your hands on 4 copies of the book and one personalized signed directly to you, would that be of interest? 5 books. Would that be of interest to anybody as a potential contest prize? Yeah, I know there's only a few people in chat, and I'll guarantee I'm not going to get a whole lot of, because this one went too long. No one's going to listen to this. But we'll see. We'll see if anybody types in. They'd be interested in getting a bunch of books to hand out to friends, family, give away as gifts. Because Easter's here, everybody. People are going to start thinking about yards, flowers, and gardens again. And you could be handing them books and saying, I met this nut on the internet, and I have his book, and you're going to be amazed. Because my problem is, I'm struggling to get out to the big channels. I spent so much time with the little channels and having so much fun with all the little channels that I didn't concentrate on the big channels because I'm not about promoting myself. I'm not about pushing myself down somebody's throat. I'm not about being out there beating them over the head. It was never my intention. I came online to do this stuff here, to be a moderator and to help channels grow, in whatever way they wanted to grow, whether bringing them information, helping them with live streams, whatever the case may be. Um, what I need is suggestions and ideas and help getting the word out, putting the bug in very large channels' ears. Hey, you need to go check this guy's book out. You might be interested in taking this to your people. Because understand, a lot of them big channels are all Amazon affiliated. I was amazed with the three I looked at today. All of them heavily entrenched in Amazon because honestly, YouTube doesn't pay a whole lot of money. But when you affiliate a product, and Diane, this is one of the things you should think about. When you affiliate a product, whether it be a paint, an easel, paint brushes, acrylics, whatever product it is you may be using, anytime somebody comes to your channel, views your stuff, and then they look at the details and you offer them the exact canvas, the exact acrylic, the exact paintbrushes, the exact everything that you used to put your idea to canvas in paint or creation, they'll just click on the Amazon link and buy everything that you used to do yours and put their idea to their canvas, their own work. And don't just stop at the view idea. If you create and you can stir the creative spirit in someone else, make a profit at it. I mean, if you're expecting YouTube uh, um, to be the all magical, they're going to hand you a $5,000 check a week to be a creator. That's why there's so many YouTube millionaires out there floating around. Just uh, yeah. Well, you have your Amazon account. If you scroll down to the bottom of any account page that you yourself are looking at, once you log in, the very bottom, to my understanding, there's a little thing there that says affiliate. You can actually just sign up with them. Of course, think that through before you fill all of that paperwork out, because one of those tabs in there is bank account information. And no, using your PayPal account won't work. So you're going to want to talk to your bank and set up a separate account outside, away from, not affiliated to anything you're doing already. It doesn't cost you anything to what form attached to your personal life and your personal accounts. Um, and then you give them that bank information. And all that is when enough money is sitting in your affiliate accounts from sales, they then cut you a check every couple of months as things go on. Hey, just in time prepping, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing tonight? Uh, yeah, I was over at SJ, saw you hanging out in there. Was laying down before that, just wasn't up to speed. Had some things on my mind that I'm ranting about tonight. But Um, yeah, this land scraper ugh. You have to watch the whole stream. It's really ridiculous. But I offer some solutions in the stream. So if you're looking for something to just listen to, I do rant. I just carry on. Um, there's some solutions offered from the book throughout without having the book in your hand. There's some solutions offered. And I try and do that on most of these that I do without any specific subject or topic. I try and give a tidbit of information on a weekly basis because it helps. It helps to have that little bit of extra knowledge. Just something to think about, something to add to your wealth of knowledge for yard work and gardening and what have you already. And it's just somebody will ask a question. I'll get a question in um, the Green Wizard email about a topic, and if it triggers it, then I'll do a video about it. I try and keep those much shorter. Tonight was just a bunch of friends are popping in, so I'm just going to hang out and talk. You do it yourself, my friend. And again, love, love the sheath. Nice job. Looks great on that blade. I'm glad I took the time and gave you time to do that. Um, wow, really, really nice. I wish I could be in the competition myself because the knife, the fire starter, absolutely incredible. I wish, but hey, it is what it is. I offered to buy them from Jerry. Jerry won't sell them to me. It's my luck. I think he's worried that if I had dragon fire, I'd probably burn my house down. So he's probably, it's probably a good choice on his part. I get it. You never have to think about that will solve so many garlic. Diane's got this problem with deer and the mites, the fleas, and the ticks and what have you from wild deer coming into the yard. Uh, garlic, Diane, garlic. Just get some garlic. I don't care. You don't have to go to the organic store. You don't have to uh, any grocery store. It really garlic is just one of them plants. You really can't fake garlic. You could, I'm sure, if I really thought about it, I could figure out how to do it in a GMO way to really make it bad for you. Um, well, mice are chasing food, so you've got to retain food. I mean, that's just one of them things. Um, you can have other animals around that will drive them off, like cats. Um, use nature against nature. It's the food chain. The next biggest predator. Blah 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 blah. Um, but yeah, Diane, garlic. Get up in them woods. Get up along that tree line, and just start shoving garlic into the soil all over the place. And as the deer run through that, and as they brush into that stuff as it's growing, right up till 4th of July, right off the plant, and coat those deers um, in the garlic. And you'll notice that some of the plants will get eaten by the deer and some of them won't because they already know it's instinctive in them. They already know if they get some of this in them, it kills off those problems. So yeah, you can just go out with a little bit of garlic along your tree line, in your hedgerows and your bushes. And they're beautiful flowers. So you could even grow them just as flowers in your yard, something you ignore. And they're gigantic, 3, 4 feet tall flowers, big, huge purple balls, gorgeous. The bees love them, butterflies love them. Um, and we've got a bee problem, so having more of those things around are just going to help keep the bees in the neighborhood. They're going to help keep the bees fed and fix another one of nature's problems. All the GMO plants that are out there are killing off the bugs and killing off the bees. There go our pollinators. So you helping the area by putting out wild plants that come back every year, year after year, just helps the problem. So going out there and throwing garlic down, And when you read planting instructions, it tells you this has to be the flat side down, pointy side up, and it's got to be about 3 inches in the soil, give or take. You can do it with a little hand shovel. It's it is super super simple. You put it down in the fall and you forget about it and you never go back and you let it grow wild. And if you ever need garlic, you go out where you know the garlic patch is and you pull a little bit out. It's going to be there. If you want to harvest it, you harvest a little bit and you put 10% of it back in the same area and let it redo itself again because it'll all come back. Um, so there's so many benefits from just letting it grow wild. And when you're using the information from the book, you're going to increase the yield potential phenomenally. And again, it's not something you have to get off your tractor to do. You just toss it down, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. You don't have to get crazy. You can just, just like Alan Haynes says, throw down. It ain't going to hurt a thing. It's all natural. Um, um, a little bit of knowledge will help immensely. Awesome. So our timing's perfect. Because I got him he should have his signed copy now. So he should have a little, redneck smile on his face and a book he doesn't have to open because he already read the other one. Because he'll probably never open the book again after the first day. That's a redneck. Might use it time, and we're now over 1,000 views. Nathan is sending people over there specifically to go after the Flint fire starter. Nathan jumped the gun on this and went a completely wrong direction and is actually screwed up the contest. Um, whatever. I just hope Jerry's paying attention. Yeah, it's great that Nathan is sending him views, but it's for the wrong contest. Nathan didn't pay attention to what the contest was and what it was about. Um, and he just sent his people over to get Jerry's 6-inch fire starter. You know, we're probably on the same train of thought prepping. But dude, really pay attention. I realized he was drinking that beer that day, but really, uh, oh, really, wrong end. Oh, I want one so bad, I really do. And I offered to pay him for it, and he said absolutely not, absolutely not, would not take my money. Maybe I'll find out. I'll have to check his address and see if I can't find like a Bass Pro Shop or something near him, someplace he would like to shop. Yeah. The idea to go in and patch a yard just kills me. Just kills me. We're gonna put a French drain in. We're gonna go in and we're gonna trench this area out so all your water runs into that. Then we're gonna fill it with gravel, meaning we're gonna take away all your potential soil possibilities by filling it with gravel. And then we're gonna throw down some topsoil that's eventually gonna sink. Like first or second rainstorm, you're not going to have this gully and this trench in your yard. But don't worry about that. That's going to help get the water out of your yard, so it's not going to retain water ever again. You're now you got this swale running through your yard, so all your water runs off, taking all of the good soil with it. It's the mindset. It's the rather than get the clay back to topsoil, retaining water again, like Mother Nature intended, like it used to do before man came into the scene 200 years ago and plopped down a house. Water and rivers used to run pristine even when it rained. You go up in the mountains, and you go way up in the mountains where it's all nature all the time. Yellowstone Park, perfect example. When the ice melt hits and you look at them waterfalls, are they running brown? No, they're only running brown where man is, because we're using chemicals and we killed everything. So all of our soils are washing out every time it rains, and everywhere flash floods. Mother Nature versus pay a guy to come in here with a trencher, $1,000, trench out in our yard to get the water out of our yard and cause more soil depletion and more runoff, versus just getting the yard to start accepting water again and turn the soil and the clay back into topsoil as deep as you can go and soak up and absorb as much water as possible that comes out of the sky. Really? And it set me off. I saw it a couple of days ago. I didn't say anything. I'm a little more politically correct than that, but wow, just a little bit of knowledge. And the land scraper could be making a fortune cutting grass earlier, having healthier grass around, having fewer weeds to trim out and deal with, and cutting longer into the season in the fall, because the grass is still growing. You start earlier and you end later in the year, and you make more money. And in the middle of fall, in the middle of the heat season, when you don't have the rains and everybody's yard's turning brown, you're sitting back going, man, I wish I had a yard to cut because I've run out of money. My yard's still green and growing. I'm not pumping city water onto it. I don't have to. But my grass is still growing like wildfire. And it's 95 darn degrees out there. Nature's way versus man's way. Just it's mind numbing. You know what I mean? It's mind numbing. You know, yes, yes. The answer is yes. It it will have a tremendous effect on weed. Yes. I don't want to go that direction. I'm curious as to what the soil conditions would be before and after. Um, what the individual see, because I'm the soil guy. I'm soil. It's constant. I want to know, when you take a specific breed or a specific plant into a certain amount of soil. I want the test before the plant was introduced, and then when the plant is removed and gone, I want another test on that soil. I want to know individually what that plant is taking out of that soil. So is it a matter of all of the plant, and all of the plants in that strain are all taking the same thing, or does one specific something else? What I'm offering is a broad spectrum that'll help all of them. But I'm curious, and I look at the tomato plant the same way, and I grow phenomenal tomato plants. I give them all away every year because I don't eat them. But I'm real curious what's coming out of that soil every single time for that specific type of Roma tomato, or that specific type of cherry tomato, or that specific type of this, that, or the other. I want to know what those plants are depleting, and can we just go back and specifically have a tomato mix, or specifically have an asparagus mix, or this mix or that mix, to just concentrate on those areas. I have a broad spectrum, so it's all covered. I don't think about any of it. It's all there in one shot. And that's what starts bringing the soil conditions back. And that's what starts bringing nature back. and it's less work over less amount of time, and it's all results are seen within the first season. You can start seeing the changes happening in the first season. But just the idea that, well, we'll just French drain it and that'll solve your problem. No, it won't. It'll make it worse. My brother had this giant tree in the corner of the yard that was cut. When they cut the area to put this house in, they cut this swale in and disturbed nature's way. And rather than leave things alone, my brother decided in his infinite wisdom, it's not his fault. He was led to this understanding. And I didn't know the difference at the time either. So it's, we're going to put in a French drain. So went out there at the swale point, cut that deep, threw in all that gravel, put the French tile in, put the dirt back on, dirt washed out. The tree died because the amount of water that the tree was getting from all of that saturation to begin with was what was keeping this tree alive. And as soon as the French drain was put in, it ran it down there like a river, flooded right around that tree, and washed it right on off the property, lightning fast, lickety split. The tree died. Is it exactly the same results because that's what we did? I don't know. I didn't know what I know now. All I know is when my father was sitting back there watching all of this happen, all he could do was shake his head no the entire time. He knew we were doing something wrong. He just didn't speak up. Would my brother have listened? Probably not. That's why my dad just shook his head. Look at that. I'm running everybody off. Nobody's hanging out tonight. That's all good. That's all good. I got it off my chest. I said what I needed to say. Ugh. Any questions? Should I just shut it off and go away? I know, buddy. I know you're there. You might be the only one there. Ugh. Diana might still be hanging in there. But I know she was talking about going to bed early. She doesn't sleep well is the issue. Um, but yeah, Jacob, I saw that post. I can't get there, but congratulations. That date is finally here. Um, I'm sure, well, I don't know. You've never really said one way or the other whether you're interested in getting into gardening or not. I've never made an issue of asking because, heck, most of you in the company probably didn't even know um, I was writing this book because I was writing this book while I was at the office a lot of times because, well, Brad. Would you sit and listen to Brad 8 hours a day? I had my mind on something totally different. He thought I was actually working. Well, this could change which of the soil and make a difference. Because again, that's what it's all about. It is the soil. And it's what we have not passed on to each other from generation to generation. It's things we've missed. Plus some other things to amp it up, help Mother Nature. Exactly my point. A lot of people could not understand how I could sit there day after day, 5 days a week, and you guys don't understand. A lot of times, as he was leaving the office, he'd still call me anyways, and then we'd go on to a whole nother conversation, and then later on in the evening, he'd call me again, and before I know it, it's midnight. And he's had me on the phone the entire night, and that would go on 4 days a week. And weekends were some of the worst. Um, Another one of the reasons I left when I saw the signs that the company was getting ready to go. Um, and now I understand from um, higher up. Cleveland off. I mean, closing, as in there will no longer be a Cleveland office representing that company. Something has happened, and you can guess things aren't working. So yeah, I got out at the right time. I ran and I got out. Well, that's coming from way high up, way past Brad, way high up. Um, that things have been so bad in that office that they're not even going to maintain it at this point. Um, Akron has an office. Youngstown has an office. Uh, I don't know where the other two are. They're along the lake, either direction. I'm not exactly sure where they are, so I can't answer that. Um, but they have holding things together with some outside supervision, so they're going to leave it alone. Um, oh yeah, absolutely. Um, and they're and again, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but they're all looking at me now as I talk to them, going, "You knew what was going on back then, didn't you? Because you had no problem getting up and walking out of the office that day, and you didn't even look back. You didn't hesitate. You didn't nothing. There was no. Eh. It's like, no, I already knew. The writing was on the wall. You guys weren't paying attention." Because I've still got contacts in other companies. I knew something was up, and when I got the rumor of that, Brad got this twinkle in his eye. I'm going to be branch manager. I was like, bye. I will find a way. Bye. I will be the first one out the door because, yep, this ain't going to work. And it didn't. It didn't. You all saw it. It didn't. But yeah, whatever. Whatever. It's about the book. That's what this channel was supposed to be about. I probably can't leave this video open now, but yeah, it is what it is. Jacob, it is what it is. Things may change. I don't foresee, unless some drastic things happen. I don't foresee even this company being able to maintain Cleveland very well. Um, Especially with the people they've chosen. It's yeah. Um, Things are not looking good at all by any shape of the imagination. Not looking good. Um, and now I understand one of them got hurt and can't do anything. Eh, whatever, whatever. His wife to. I know they're young, but oh my God, wake up. But whatever the case may be, I've got. I'm leaving the area altogether if this book survives and goes somewhere. Um, I'm leaving the area altogether. You guys may want to go with me. Ugh, I have some ideas. Um, you guys may want to tag along. We'll see. We'll see it's all in what the book does. It's all in what the book does. I want to write a second book. I really, really do. I don't want to work a farm and have to work every single acre of it and have to worry about it. I want to concentrate on the subjects of the book and let everybody else take care of the property and do whatever they want to do. I don't care. Um, Concentrate on your talents and your abilities. If I've got 3 or 4 guys that want to just do security, sitting at a front gate watching TV all night, so be it. So be it. Because they live right there on the property. That's just how they're contributing to the property and what's going on. Um, and that's what we do. Come harvest time, everybody reaps the benefits. So if you do one thing and you jump into something else to help in the summer, um, I don't want to call it a commune, but I'm not going to do this huge garden. There's just no way. Hey, what's going on, my friend? I'm not 100% sure, Cliff. He was there, he was off screen, then he vanished, and he hasn't popped up here. So I'm assuming he fell asleep finally. Maybe. I don't know because he isn't here. Um, yeah, what a weekend, huh? I got all the updates. I sure was. I figured I'm safer just going off and going to bed, getting out of everybody's way. Uh, I know Jacob's here. I think Diane left, and Prepper might still be in here. He hasn't said anything lately, but he's got a blue wrench. Cliff, you've now got yours because I've got it's still working. I went in a different way. Apparently, this is the way I have to go in every night to get things working. Um, yeah, you know those two fifths that we were watching him deal with the first one on Friday night. Well, he stayed up and kept drinking that, and then he went into the next one. Um, and he stepped on a bunch of people. All there, I mean, across the board, a bunch of people are now really upset with him. Um, oh yeah, oh yeah. He he was in rare form this weekend, buddy. Rare form. Oh boy, did he step on toes this weekend. All funny in my book because I don't blame him. I blame the alcohol. But man, he hammered those two. No, 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 no. He said he got some sleep today. He said he got some sleep this morning, but uh, yeah, I don't know because I talked to him throughout the day as we were trying to track down some other candidates. I don't know. Yeah, that was the case. So you can't trust his judgment at that point. It is what it is. It is what it is. We've all been there. We've all done that. We've all regretted it after the fact. Um, I got taken down in some of that, but it's not him; it's the alcohol. I can't I can't blame him. I have to blame the alcohol. It's not because our boy, he's not like that. That's not his. He may think it, but he's smart enough not to say it. Um, is what it is. Uh, I see a couple other people in the background. Go ahead and speak up if you're friends. I'll pop that wrench on you. But anyhow, yeah, Jacob and I used to work together in the security industry. I'm sure he did, dear, and for myself, I will apologize for him in those conditions, but I will also blame the alcohol and an excessive amount of alcohol. That's not his normal way. So, you know, as me as a friend to you, I'll apologize. And maybe I should have been there to stop it, but at the same time, I didn't want to be associated with it, if you understand my meaning. Um, Bobby did a lot of apologizing today to a whole lot of people. Does he remember everybody he stepped on? I'm not sure, but Bobby's his own man. I wish everybody would understand it was the alcohol, the makers and chips and cheese and um, and I understand his circumstances, and I understand he's got some health issues, and there's more going on there than what meets the eye. But we all see what he eats on a daily basis. He should never have consumed that much alcohol in one sitting. I don't care that it was 48 hours or what have you. That was 2/5 or two whatever liter, 2 liter, whatever bottles of whiskey and no food, no legitimate food. So, from the man that I am, I'll apologize for Bobby, even though it's not my place. The circumstances are what they are. He should not have been consuming that much without eating a correct meal ahead of that. So all of that was just brain saturated in booze. That's not Bobby's normal way. It really is not. Uh, and I've probably got one or two lurkers here that faulted me for something else with another friend of mine. And again, it always misunderstandings. Always misunderstandings. There's a very specific channel I've got a sad issue with, and it's just something I have to deal with. And they immediately took that information and that audio track and they took it to somebody else and said they're talking about you, and I wasn't. And I wasn't. That person may never forgive me. So be it. When you're going to listen to the outsiders and listen to the I don't know what I don't even know what to call them. Drama chasers, feeders, bottom feeder. I don't even know what to call them. I understand they're trying to look out for each other, but when they're taking inappropriate and wrong, turn on a lifelong friend, and the lifelong, doesn't have all the ducks in a row and doesn't understand all of what has transpired. Okay, I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm not gonna demean myself and discuss. It's pointless. The damage is done. If that person wants to take someone else's word for it, okay, okay, their problem, not mine. Mm. I know it's buffering. I saw it go. I got a call into them. We lost cable today or all day, but internet stayed up. So something happened in the company. There's some issues. So yeah, there's some major phone calls getting ready to happen because what I've paid for, I should never buffer. I pay way too much money. There's no way I should buffer on any machine, and I should be able to have all three, four machines up live streaming at the same time and still not buffer. But whatever. Another reason I want to move, go write a different book, build a different life for myself. Sorry, listening to my cat. He's out there crying because I'm not sleeping. He doesn't like when I don't do what he thinks I should be doing. So he'll wander around the house and cry all night. Oh. So yeah, look into that, Diane. Get your affiliate market set up. Um, Even if you're never and don't take that the wrong way, you've got an incredible channel there. You should be able to make it. Um, Even if you never reach that financial side of YouTube and become one of those powerhouse channels, and understand you're not going to start seeing a healthy, stable, potentially livable income from YouTube until you pass 35K, and be completely commercialized. Um, it's not there. It's not. Now, if you're using affiliate marketing and not deliberately stating it on your every stream, but you put it in as added information, and you just tell everybody, look at the added information for the products I used. Um, that's allowed. If you deliberately put it on your page, you can't have another commercial on the page. So you have to play the the political side of that. You can put it in print after the fact of the video. You just can't really put it in the video itself and say, go to my Amazon affiliate link. Just look for details below to see the products that I used. That's allowed. Um, you could potentially make more there than you ever will while you're on your way to your 35,000. Um, that's just a trend here. The new rules, the new guidelines, hey, they might set that up. They might make that happen. Because I understand a lot of powerhouse advertisers stepped out of YouTube and some live streaming because of some of the issues that are going public. Um, will they potentially return if the new rules apply equally across the board to everybody? Things may change. Um, and the advertisers and more advertisers may come back. But right now, they've lost them. So they're going into, spook mode. Oh my God, what do we do? We just lost our hugest paychecks. Well, you should have been applying the rules before. Common sense. It shouldn't have just been the Wild West. Common sense. If you make a rule that applies to everybody across the board, not from the bottom up. Don't try it down here and then maybe get it up there. No, it doesn't work that way. But whatever, whatever. Things are going to change. Is live streaming going to stay? Got my doubts. Got my doubts. How do you monetize that and police it at the same time? Unless YouTube puts moderators out there 24/7 to be in live streams and have overriding control, regardless of the owner of the channel. Blah blah blah. Blah. And that's going to require an army. There's a lot of live streamers around the world in multiple languages. That's a huge paycheck they'd have to put out. I don't see it happening. It's a thought, but that's the only way to police this. Mr. Carlisle, welcome, my friend. Welcome, welcome. Oh, where are you? There you go. I was on a rant about soil, and now we've gotten off onto YouTube policies and rules and potentials, and yeah, we're just kind of all over the place. It all started over. I read a post about, well, if you have a excessive water problem in your yard, maybe you should install a French drain. That'll take and rather than fix the soil problem, we're just going to cause a greater problem. And it's been banging on my head for 2 days, and I had to come on and say something about it. You can fix the soil, fix the problem, and don't need to install a French drain. $500 to $1,000 for a French drain to cause yourself a problem in 2 years and still not fix the problem, or fix the problem and get the soil back, get the food web back, get the water retention back. And the solution is sitting in the drugstore for $5. It's just wow, just wow. If land scrapers only knew, but they never got the information or they never got the memo or whatever. Well, solutions in my book. Every land scraper should read it, because God forbid they extend their cutting season by a drastic amount, 10 to 12 weeks, more cutting season, and put a bigger paycheck in their pocket and not have downtime in the middle of the season. It's amazing what my system does. It's amazing. And it's just letting nature do its thing. But whatever. Whatever. Yeah, I tried to lay down myself, Dave, but I couldn't. This was just on my mind, and I had to come on and say something. I had to vent. You know me and soil. I'm thinking about having a contest. I need to get everybody to vote on it. I'm gonna have to just do a specific stream and find out. This one's run too long. I can't leave this posted. But um, how do I get the word out? Even better, how do I get you guys' help getting the word out? What I'm trying to do is reach the biggest channels possible. And my contest idea is, hey, why not have the YouTube community find the biggest out there and start hounding them so that that biggest channel comes back to me and says, we'd like to see people. And then whoever came up with that particular person or opened that door takes credit for it, gets 5 books, and one of them is signed and dated and what have you. Um, because I'm one guy. I've got no advertising budget. I've got no backup on this, and I'm kind of at a loss. Um, I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, or a lot of you have seen it. You go out there to get to a big YouTube channel, and you just want to get a note to them. You just want to get a message to them. You want to ask them a question or something, and their emails don't work. They don't answer. Their Facebook groups don't allow posts. They're this, they're that. I mean, it's like they're all closed up in their own little world because God forbid one of us reach out and talk to them. Uh, right, David. But let's see. Here's the thing: if the water is leaving your yard and washing out your neighbor's yard, your soil is eventually going to cave in that area. Now you've created a swale, so you've lost even more soil, which is the problem with you. They're probably going to go back to the city, and you're going to get cited because you've gone and done this, and now it's damaging their yard. Because some cities are like that. So rather than get your soil to correctly retain water and get your clay turned back into topsoil, let's just go install a French drain. No permits required. Let's drain all the water out of our yard so that everything is thirsty. More trees die, more bushes dry, gardens don't work right anymore, and we wash our own soil out. I guess I don't need to take the explanation any further than that. Well, see, I just don't know, Cliff, because I'm trying to reach these giant channels, and all of these giant channels are, and this is why I say it, Diane. All these giant channels are Amazon affiliated up to the teeth, because that's where the money is in the affiliate marketing, and they're on it hardcore, even down to what clothes they were wearing that day is affiliate marketed on their channels. That's how hardcore they're pushing this. And they're making a fortune doing it. Um, and nobody's even tracking those kind of numbers. So the affiliate marketing on everybody's pages could potentially pay off in spades in the long run. And the giant channels are showing it's working, or they wouldn't be doing it. Um, so yeah. Look at your affiliate marketing. It's tremendous. But I can't reach the big channels. I really can't. I want to get the word out about the book. The book will make a difference to every homesteader, every gardener, I mean, just to get people off the NPK and the chemicals could change the world by itself. People just don't know. So my question is, how do I get it out there? Hey, Cambo, buddy, how you been? Oh, long time, my friend, long time. Oh, I mean, because a few of us, buddy, has been helping. If it doesn't move, Cambo, I got you for the wrench. Um, Buddy's been helping. Bobby's been helping. A few others have been helping. Um, I understand there's a Twitter ad finally out there. Some people have been hounding Facebook. Um, I I can't thank them enough. I don't know what the sales numbers are at this point. I'm not looking. I'm afraid to look because I was so disappointed the first time. Looking back a second time, I don't want to be even further disappointed. The question is that I pose to everybody: how do I get all of my YouTube friends to help? How do I sweeten the deal or sweeten the pot? Is, is it going to take $100 gift certificate to get me to the top dog? Uh, is it going to take a bunch of copies of my book in their hands specifically? Um, uh, I don't know. I'm just at a loss because I'm marketing alone here. I don't. Again, it's an indie author. I'm not affiliated with a publishing house that got my back for 60% of the profits, as they overpriced the book. Now, seriously, if the book was marketed with a publishing house that does all of the junk involved, you'd be looking at a $28 to $30 book because all of that would be nothing but profit in their pockets to pay for their involvement to just do advertising. And I would still have to be jumping through hoops and going and doing talks and going and doing talk radio and going and doing this and going and doing that and going and doing this. I don't want to travel the country. I want to write the next book. The few of you that have the book, Cliff, I know you have two copies of it, and I appreciate that, my friend. You've read it. Does the book stand alone, or do I need to actually talk for the book to work? Well, that's just it, Campbell. I'm trying to get to the top dogs. I'm trying to get to the biggest channels out there. Um, I don't know if gamers are even a valuable market. Um, Farmers are not a viable market. They're sold on the NPK process. That won't work. It's got to be gray man groups. It's got to be survivalist. It's got to be the home gardener. It's got to be the some. I'll see you later, Diane. Thanks for stopping in, sweetheart. Thanks for hanging out with me. Um, it's got to be something where this will work. I've not yet seen a Century 21 channel that I can take the book to and say, hey, all of your new homeowners need to have this book. There's no such thing on YouTube that I've ever seen. So how do we we turn our army of friends into a marketing machine and get me in the door of these giant 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 million follower channels so that that channel owner takes a look at my book and at least gives it a chance, at least thinks about it, because they're all affiliated up. They're all in the Amazon affiliates. So even if they took the book, they'd still make a profit. So it's not like it would be wasted airspace. And they're all scrambling for new content every single week. Question is, how do you get to them? Oh, awesome, Campbell. Awesome. There are contests. There are contests going on. Um, I can't announce, I don't want to announce them until I actually see them announced. I don't want the channels to be hounded. Where's your contest? Where's your contest? I want the book. Um, I got called to a mail call today. Um, Casey Detox Diva. Some of you know her, some of you don't. Casey Detox Diva has 2 signed copies. She's going to be announcing sometime tomorrow what the contest is, what the guidelines are for it. The contest itself is Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on her channel. I will be live streaming with her as we do it. Hey, Dole Whip Dad, what's going on, my friend? Welcome, welcome. Um, so there's going to be two signed copies right there, Campbell. There are other ones coming. Um, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but I announced them here as they're going on. Um, so I can immediately link up and say, hey, there's going to be a book given away over here. There's going to be a book given away over there. Jump in and make sure you get on the stream so you can get in on the contest. And I know all it's doing is it's driving up their numbers, but it's getting the word out about my book. As the chatter continues, is it selling the book? Is it not selling the book? I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing to do to be handing it out in contests. I don't know. Um, 300 plus friends in on my page, and the first week I went in and looked at the numbers, killed myself. Only 20 books sold, and I had 200 plus friends at that point. That was devastating. So I know I've got 20 friends out of 200 that were actually interested in the knowledge I've got to pass on. So I was kind of in the wind there. I wasn't sure what to do. So now I'm kind of looking at all of you guys going, what do I do? How do I get the buzz out? How do I get this to people? Um, yeah, I've been replaced. That's over. Um, she was not happy that I had to go back to work. I couldn't afford to just be 24/7 on her stream, um, and available. I had to go back to work, and I've had very little snow, so even going back to work didn't help. I'm still financially screwed. It is what it is. Um, so yeah, I won't be going back. Even in the summertime, it's not going to happen. Um, is what it is. She closed the door on that. She found somebody else to be there for her as much as he can be there. So I regret it. I thought I still had an open door there, but obviously not. Yeah, somebody else said the same thing to me today, Campbell. I got an email about it. Um, Another group of people is pretty disappointed I'm not over there. Um, Sorry, that door got closed. I wasn't even told it was closed. I discovered it was closed. So no, I have not. Believe it or not, in the Cleveland area, there are not a lot of bookstores. They're kind of a thing of the past around here. Um, I've thought about approaching the library. I've thought about talking to um, some of the elderly clubs in the area that I know still read, that kind of stuff, and I know they still garden in the area. But that's not going to get word out fast enough to make the change I'm hoping to make. It's a great idea. Am I available to those stores? Yeah, yeah. And what I understand, and this is not, this is from other indie authors. Um, if enough people go to these stores and go to their local stores and say, I wish you to carry this book because I want to get a copy of it, and they hear that enough, the bookstores will go get it and put it on their shelves. Does it cut into my profits? Absolutely. Do I care? No. It's about getting the word out. If I cared about the profit, then we'd be running the book at full on price and trying to get every dime out of it potential. And that's not why I wrote the book. Get the correct information out that works. It worked for me. I proved it again and again. Um, and there's examples in the book about it. Um, but if there's no chatter, and that's kind of why I was looking at YouTube, thinking, well, there's a great possibility there. That's an interesting marketplace, and being an indie author, or an independent author without a publishing house behind me. This is a potential platform. Um, Problem is, books don't sell on YouTube. People are not in YouTube um, to find a book. This isn't a library, so it's kind of a weird area to be in. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here. I'm stumbling around in the dark. Well, that's just it. I gotta find the store. They're not readily available around here. Jacob, I missed the Hartsville show. There was a home and garden show down there in Amish country. I understood. I missed that. Um, Again, my marketing, it everything landed at the wrong time, because we had the home and garden show here in Cleveland, um, and it was 2 weeks prior to the release of the book. So I just missed it, and I don't have anything. Um, Ad pack. They're beating up on uh, um, the person at the register, because person at the register is just there to sell books. They probably don't even know what half the books say. No, and they won't talk to me anyways, because I'm not a master gardener and didn't go to college to learn my craft, because I couldn't possibly know anything. All right, Campbell, we'll talk to you, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping in. Appreciate seeing you, buddy. Really, really do. Don't be a stranger. Stop in and leave a, hey, drop dead, idiot. Let me know you're still out there and hanging around, my friend. Uh, yeah, I don't know what to do, guys. I'm kind of at a loss. I went after a 300 plus K channel today. Went to their support page. They've got a .com. Went to their support page. Went directly to their mailing, and they've got 4 different options. I tried all 4 options. All of them errored. They are deliberately closed to emails. Um, I went to another one on Facebook. You can't leave a post on any posts that he puts up. You can only see what he's doing, and what he chooses to put on Facebook. There's no way to talk to the guy on Facebook. And that's my trouble. I'm running into that everywhere. Um, and that's why I was thinking, well, buzz works. If people are talking, and I'm not asking people to put videos up. That's not what I'm talking about. But you guys, you guys may know other ways to get to people. I don't. I have no clue. I'm so busy trying to provide support. mean, come on, 13 weeks with that channel, and I didn't do anything else for 13 weeks. I disappeared to everybody onto that channel. Um, and I ignored friends and what have you, and just helped get that channel to that 4,000K goal, and get that door open to YouTube. Um, because when I go after something, I go after it wholeheartedly. If I'm helping somebody specifically, it's wholeheartedly helping them with every ounce of my being. That's just who I am. It's the good Samaritan side of me that to go help where needed. Um, I just don't know here. I'm fumbling around in a dark. Bookstores. Good luck finding them. I guess I'll figure out something. See, because our local nurseries, yeah, I think that's what you call them. Our local nurseries uh, may not be very big because they just deal with a very small select few. I don't know that they would even know. Um, could I potentially put books there on consignment that they sell for me? That's possible, and it would get word out in my local area a little bit. But like I said, I'm trying to saturate everywhere, all markets, trying to get out there and get to everybody. Um, within 2 days of my book going live, two other channels in Europe, two other people in Europe ordered in bulk quantity. I'm assuming, and got a bunch of books, and they are charging more than what the books sell for on Amazon, and promising faster deliveries, but at a much higher price, plus shipping and handling. So, word's out. People are grabbing the book. I mean, come on. If anybody was going to tear this book apart, seriously, it was going to be Howie from Food Forest Permaculture. And I don't know if any of you saw the video. It's linked in one of my other videos. Uh, Not he rated it 99.991 behind the book. Loved it. His only problem was I didn't mention food forest permaculture in the book. And like I told him, I appreciated that, what have you, but he's in the next book because the way he's building his gardens and building those beds is a very strong, viable way to build a garden for anybody. Um, and it's working in British Columbia, which is a colder cell zone, a colder grow zone, and he's able to maintain those plants in some incredible ways. And he absolutely loved the book, loved it, couldn't punch a hole in it, loved it, thought it was great, thought I was on the money. 5 years worth of work, definitely worth my time because everything is there. So the book stands on its own. I'm not concerned about the content of the book not being correct and not working. Um, it's how do I get out to a mass market with minimal budget? That's my issue. Oh, really? You can. I'll have to. Okay. Thank you for pointing that out. I'll fix that. I will fix that. That was set up before all of this was working. Um, I will definitely fix that. I nobody really in all these weeks nobody has said that. Um, okay, here I am. Okay, I have a .com. I have a webmaster building it. The link to the book is his affiliate. That's how he's getting paid. So he's voluntarily building the website for me and maintaining the website for me for the profit from any sales of the book through my website. So there you go. Um, yeah, there's going to be a facelift. Yeah, we've got some things in mind. Um, he's got to finish reading the book. He finally got a copy. Um, and he's going to try and spend this weekend. Now, got to understand, this is a 100-page book, 114-page book. It is designed for the yard worker to have in the garage. There are larger margins so that your thumbprint does not cover any of the print. If you have something on your finger, coffee or dirt or what have you, you're not going to smudge the ink. The margins are a little bit larger. There are deliberately blank pages throughout the book. So if you want to take notes, add recipes, add ideas, jot down a note and come yell at me about it later to get some feedback on it, it's in the book. And that's a lot of problems with a lot of books, because a lot of people are writing the margins of the books because there's nowhere else to write information to add to the book. I've provided blank pages to do just that. So the book's thought out. It's not like I didn't have everybody in mind when I wrote this. Um, Time reading, somebody who retains and reads really fast got through the book in under an hour. Um, Other people have taken, an hour and a half, average hour and a half to get through the book. Um, some are taking 2 and 3 days. It just depends on how busy they are. There's a lot of information. It's a good story. It's chapterless because it's just a story. Just read the story. You will get all the information from all of my mistakes. It will give you 15 years worth of knowledge of doing things wrong and explain how I discovered doing it right, and then followed through and gave you all of the supporting details. You walk away from this book, there's no mysteries, there's no questions. I didn't hold anything back so that you're looking for the next book. That wasn't my intention. I wanted everything in one place, one shot, everything's there. There it is. And I did it in an entertaining way, I think. Everybody seems to be able to pick up the book, be entertained by it, stay with it until the end, and then put the book down and have the information mostly. Did I put you to sleep, Cliff? Are you done? Did you go walk the dog? I see 6 people hanging out. Am I boring 6 people here? All right, Jacob. Go do your rounds. Go do your patrol. We'll talk to you whenever. You know me. I'll be around sooner or later. All righty, brother. Well, I was ranting about soil earlier. I can go back into that again, but yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. I got it's out of my system. Somebody was talking about using French drains, and it's just like, oh my god, that's the problem. It's a patch. Why would you take $1 million jet and patch the tire with a plug for 50 cents? $1 million plane riding on a 50-cent patch. If you've got water in your yard, you have a different problem. It's not that no, it's a different problem. Your yard has turned into too much clay. That can be reversed, and you don't have to break your back to fix that. It's a simple $2, $5 bag at the drugstore. It's available, and it's at the drugstore of all places, and it will slowly soak in and fix the problem. Along with Mother Nature's help, there's the solutions are in the book, like Jerry's wood shop says. Don't ask questions. The solutions are in the book. If your trees are dying and your yard's flooding and your this is that and this and that and the other and the solutions in the book. Don't discount the book. There's so much more in the book than soil. But honestly, I'm about the soil. Did I add more? I think so. Was it entertaining? I think so. But I'm about the soil. I'm about the issues with the food web. That's where we're going wrong by using chemicals. Yeah, I know. I've got the face for radio, as I've been told, and that's all good. I can talk for hours. If I got just a little bit of a leeway, I can talk for hours. I can go on without taking a breath or seeming like I'm not taking a breath when I'm really, really passionate about something. And soil is my world. Soil is everything to me. If I could sit on a piece of property and just be surrounded by soil and with nothing but the object of making better soil, better soil, better soil, and selling off the soil to afford to live on that mound of dirt, that's what I would do because I just love the stuff. The concepts and the possibilities are endless as to what good living soil is capable of doing. Um, well, see, and Cliff, the neat thing is you can do this after dark. Mother Nature does her best work after dark. That's when the grass grows. That's when the plants grow. Is after dark. And if you don't have any major pitfalls, ankle breakers, or that kind of stuff throughout your yard, dude, you can go out at midnight when it's comfortable and do what needs to be done to your yard, and your neighbors never need know. All they're going to see is, oh my God, his yard turned around. What did he do? The man never comes out of his house, and look at his yard change. Holy cow! Right. Well, see, and that's another screw up that people do. You know, they set their water timers on their city water to to sprinkle during the heat of the day. No, that's bad. Don't do that. You don't cut grass after 10 a.m. If your yard is completely in sunlight at 10 a.m., do not cut that grass. Wait till evening time and cut it as the sun is going down. You want to cut the grass in the shade. You want to water when the sun is going down, not when the sun is coming up. Because seriously, all of that water sitting on your grass when the sun hits it is turning it into um, a magnifying glass, and you're burning the soil underneath. It is bad, 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 bad. Do not. You don't water after 10 a.m. or before 7 p.m. And if you can help it, cut your grass on a cloudy day. If you have to cut it at all, or cut it in the morning or cut it in the evening. Never cut during the heat of the day. You are doing nothing but hurting the grass and hurting the soil underneath. The book, the book, Dole Whip. Hey, High Host Silver is in the house. Um, yeah, the process, the process. Now, again, you got to understand, you're going to get to, okay, how do I ask this question? Um, No, do not cut wet grass. Do not cut wet grass. Wait till the next day or wait till night. Let that stuff evaporate off. Do not cut dew. Don't cut wet grass. Not only is it bad for the lawnmower, it's extremely bad for the grass. Same with sharp lawnmower blades. If your lawnmower blade's not sharp and you're not slicing it off and you're shredding it off, You're killing your grass. You're doing more damage than good. Um, oh, is it all clay, David? That can be changed. The book will tell you how. But Zone 8A. Um, is it a new build? Meaning that they've come in there with a bunch of trucks, run over the yard, done all sorts of damage. What? Oh, all right, all right. Get a hold of your contractor. Do not pay him to put yard in or to put grass in. Don't waste your money. He's going to put down artificial, spray on, pop up in 3 day, water the living daylights out of, and cover up a whole lot of problems. Okay, because all of his contracting buddies and all of that landscaping equipment have crushed everything and squeezed the life out of the soil. It's not bad. It can be returned, it can be made back. The other side to that is they buried stuff in that yard. You need to dig it all out and get rid of that garbage. I don't care if you bring friends in with metal detectors. You need to get all of that garbage out of that yard before you put seed one down. Trust me, all of that stuff will deteriorate over time and cause you problems in the future, especially around the foundation where they dumped most of their trash. So do not get a hold of your contract. $1,000 or $500 to put a spray in Chemlon, whatever. Don't do it. Don't do it. Yes, their chemical mix is great. Chemical mix. They spray it on anything. They could spray it on a car tire, and it will grow grass. It's a chemical. It's doing nothing for the soil. Read the book. Go through that soil. It's the best time, honestly, it's the best time in the world for you to start from slate scratch clean, apply my process, and I will guarantee you that come fall, when you finally start putting in your grass seed, because you take your time and clean it out right. Don't misunderstand that. Don't, if you have to work at it, you're doing it wrong. It's a simple process. Go find rocks this weekend. Next weekend, go find something else. Next weekend, find all that scrap metal that they buried. The next weekend, go find the 2x4s. Take your time. But in the process, you can crack the soil open and start applying some amendments and getting some stuff down that's going to call the worms back and bring in everything to start the aeration process and to start reclaiming the soil and turning all of the compressed, compact soil, clay, topsoil, everything that got the living daylight squeezed out of it. It's going to reclaim all of that. If they put wood chips down, throw them away. Don't use wood chips. They're using dyed wood chips, and that will toxify the soil and nothing will grow correctly. Mother Nature will raid you like something crazy, and you will never stop the weed problem. The book will tell you how. Don't use wood chips. So don't order any bushes, don't order any shrubs, don't do any landscaping other than the basic geography of your property. Don't do it. Read the book. It will help you immensely. And I'm telling you, as a new homeowner, you don't have thousands of dollars to be dumping into a yard that was chemical saturated and screwed up. Put the money back in your pocket, read the book, and you'll understand exactly where I'm taking that. And you'll be able to turn that yard around. And this fall, when you're putting in your yard, it will pay off in spades. You will have the best yard in the area, and you will not be using chemicals in any way, shape, or form because I've given you better options, far better, all natural options, all organic, all safe. I walk in my yard barefoot, all safe. The clay, okay, understand the way it used to be way back when was clay topsoil. The rocks were in there, but it was clay and topsoil. That topsoil was feet thick, 5, 6, 7, 8 feet thick topsoil ranges all over this country. Very thick. Never went uncovered. What we have done, because of the way we do things in man's way, we drive over it. We squeeze the water out. We fly jets over it. We saturate it in chemicals. Then we drive over again and we have crushed it. So instead of it being 5 feet, the clay bed's rising, the soil's going away. And as we're killing the top layer and wiping out the food web that makes it topsoil, and no, I'm not talking about topsoil you get at Home Depot or Lowe's or any of the other box stores. As you're killing the food web, driving over it, walking on it, spraying chemicals on it, using the NPK process and running to the box stores and throwing more garbage on it, all derivatives of oil, you wipe out the food web and it goes down too. So we're down to this much topsoil, this much soil if we're lucky. The rest might be a little bit of dirt with a bunch of rocks and sand mixed into it. And then the rest is solid clay because we've just compressed everything out of it. Everything's gone. When you go the opposite direction and you start pulling the chemicals off the top and you start allowing Mother Nature to shove her way down through the clay and through the soil and through the topsoil and start doing her thing, and the bugs start coming in and the food web begins to grow, we start reclaiming the clay. The clay becomes soil again. Key word, clay becomes soil again. The only thing missing in clay that it is not soil is organic matter. Mother Nature has a way of putting the organic matter into the clay to reclaim it. Mother Nature's way. We're assisting it. We're ringing the dinner bell. We're giving it things to put down in there in my process, in what's suggested in the book. And believe me, I can go out there with my car, with a car, just a standard 4,000 pound car, park it in my front yard just to screw with city council because they hate that. And within an hour, my car is sinking in the front yard. It'll drop an inch in an hour because that's how much topsoil I have. That's how much aeration it has. That's how much water saturation it has. Pull the car off. Yeah, I've got 4 little dots where all that weight was sitting. Oh my God, it looks atrocious. Within 2 days, if not less, 2 days, just an overnight process. Mother Nature's helpers come in and push that back up again and take it right back to level. Now, granted, I have different lawnmowers. Some are small wheels, some are big balloon wheels, what have you. So I don't run in the same circles all the time. I always cut my grass a different way. I always use different tires. I'm anal about it. I'm just weird. But my soil returns and comes right back up again. Every yard is capable of doing that. There's other vegetables. There's other vegetables, Cliff, that have incredibly deep going roots. For those of you questioning another way, I am so sorry. Excuse me. For those of you questioning, is there another way to break up clay without going out there with equipment to do it? Yes. Yes. The solution's in the book for one process. There is another process behind that also in the book. Hey, sweet Amber. Um, there are some garden plants. Research them. There are some garden plants that have incredibly deep growing roots that are specifically looking for clay. So they will go find the clay and burrow into the clay for a multitude of reasons. And for the life of me, it escapes me again as to exactly what it was. Radish. The radish. Any of you that have ever been around a garden or seen radishes in a grocery store know the roots are still there. They don't clean them completely off. Right. Well, guess what? That root is even longer than you think. The food web is even longer than you think. But that's a different story altogether. If you've got a clay problem, go throw radishes in your garden and forget your garden for a year. And I mean literally forget your garden. Don't mess with the radishes. Don't harvest them. Don't do anything. Radishes are natural nitrogen when they break down. Tremendous, tremendous, useful, what have you. If you've got a garden that's got clay and you still need to garden this year so that you can and what have you, plant radishes every other plant and don't touch them. Let them go. Don't worry about the weeds. There's another thing in there that I've got for you to use for weeds. It will break your clay up. There are different breeds of radishes that grow from the little sweet red ones that we all see in our salads, all diced up really pretty and nice. Huge, huge roots. There are even bigger ones that grow up to 3 feet long. I've seen them. They're record holders in Ohio. They're huge. Just look at the pack when you read it. All of us are eating the little tiny ones. We're not even knowing that the big ones are out there. Believe me, these are the ones that they're using in the big mixes when they're mixing up sauces and they're mixing up this, that, or the other. They're using them giants. But those things will devour and crack up and break up clay beds like you will not believe in a season. So if you got a clay problem in your garden, throw a bunch of radishes down and forget about them. Grind them in the next year. They're going to compost in and turn into natural nitrogen and boost the living daylights out of that garden naturally. No, that's not in the book. That's a freebie. That would be in my gardening book. That would be in the Build the Garden, the Perfect Garden Bed book that I'd love to write for you guys. But so yeah, if you think you have a clay problem, or you know you have a clay problem, and getting out there with a shovel breaks your back, there's a solution. Mother Nature's got ways to do it for you. And like Jerry says, Jerry's Woodshop says, the solutions are in the book. So track it down. It'd make a world of difference. Dole, if you got a new house coming, really save yourself a fortune, tremendous fortune. Don't allow chemical one to be put on that yard. Get the trash out, get it cleaned up the way you want it. Read the book, memorize the book if need be, and that would be stupid because it's just a story. It will change everything for you and put money in your pocket, a lot of money in your pocket. Awesome. Great way to go, David. Oh, I'm sorry, Amber. I'm blanking out. I forgot to. I'm sorry. I am so sorry, dear. Um, Compost. Great process. And when you read the book, you'll understand a little bit more why I'm going to ask the question. But my question would be, how many different trees are you getting leaves from? Are you only using the ones in your yard? No, honey, I blanked out and I meant to give you a wrench, and you were talking and talking and I just I forgot myself. The reason I say that, David, is because unless you're going out and I'm not faulting, don't, please, and I know that sounds wrong, but unless you're going out and you're getting maple in this color and that color, and understand each leaf color is a different mineral. Hey, Treasure Trolls, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. Thank you. Oh, one of the coin people. Thank you so much for stopping in. Uh, in the fall, all the leaf colors are different minerals. The more leaf colors you bring into your compost pile, the more minerals you're bringing in. Now, if you don't want to do that kind of work, the solution's in the book. It'll amplify your compost in ways you'll understand. Once you read it, you'll understand it. It'll be just like a light going on. Um, um, Composting is ultimately the best for gardens. Ultimately, uh, it brings in the worms that you can utilize in the garden beds. It. But again, we're taking one thing to put it into another when we could be just addressing the garden and not have the need for compost. I'm not saying it's the wrong. Don't because the nitrogens and the worm castings I mean, you could not ask for better for gardens. But what about the garden? You can amplify the garden and not have a need for compost. Even though when you take the compost and add it to the garden, add it to my process, it just takes it that much further up the chain and makes it that much better. I mean, I don't know. I guess the question I would ask you, David, do you have 18-foot tall trellis to run tomatoes, or 19-foot tall trellis strong enough to hold tomatoes? Because if you run my process and you understand once you read the book, you're going to need that. And it's going to need to be very, very sturdy because it's going to produce like you've never seen before. That's my problem. And that's why I love tomatoes, because my plants just take off and produce like you would not believe. Um, and I'm not working any harder than my next door neighbor who's out there watering every day to stay ahead of his tomato plants. And of course, they all split because nature's way is slow saturation as the plant wants to absorb it, not only when the water's available, but all the time. And that's the difference between my garden and my neighbor's garden. He can't maintain water. He has no depth of garden. It runs into clay. I have depth of garden. If I take my rototiller out there, and I love my rototiller, I love power tools. Grunt grunt. If I take my rototiller out, I stick it in my garden, and I fire that sucker up, and I let it loose, I'm going to need my 4x4 to get it out of my garden because it's going to churn so hard, so fast, so deep. I can't control it, can't get it back out of the garden because there's no clay under my garden. If there is clay, it's so deep I've not found it because for years I've just been letting the food web do its thing and go as deep as it wants to go. And all I do is keep feeding the food web and it just keeps expanding the garden. My garden soil rises every year. I could almost go in there and take out soil every single year and give it to the neighbors and still not run out of soil. It's that abundant and that alive that it just replenishes itself. That's what we're talking about. And it's just an understanding. And it's stuff we've forgotten. It's stuff that's not been passed on. It's stuff that's not um, it's not discussed in open channels anymore. It's a forgotten natural way of doing things. The American Indians tried to teach some of this to the colonists. A lot of them almost starved, so you can kind of understand. Hey, Solar Powered Homestead, welcome. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping in. I'm ranting about soils. That's my world. Oh, hey, John. How you been, buddy? Uh, awesome. Well, you guys just maintain, come up with a question. I'm gonna go grab a cup of coffee. No. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're okay. I get it. Um, um, so you're getting 15 feet.